if you offer me a job and I find out my manager, my direct supervisor is going to be a minority, babe, keep that DEI hire and keep that job offer too. I prefer to work under white men, okay? White, middle-aged, men with a family, AARP eligible, the ones that got the AAA, the ones that eat off the IHOP 55 plus menu, you know what I mean? The Medicare eligible ones, give me that. Give me that. Because as far as I'm concerned, the minorities, they like to make you pay back the dues that they had to pay in 1987 when they first got their job as the model minority. And they want to make sure that you have to do it too. Meanwhile, white man, he sees me, he goes, yep, let me give you this special project. What do you need? What's going to advance your career? How can I help you? None of the passive aggressiveness, none of the micromanaging, none of that extra shit, right? Give me Jim, Bob, Bill, give me that. Don't give me the minority, because as far as I'm concerned, anybody that looks like me or identifies as somebody who would be a DEI hire, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not with it. I'm not with it. Y'all got a chip on y'all shoulder that I personally do not have the brain power to deal with. So as far as I'm concerned, hand me to the nearest white man. Thank you.
So I actually have a personal experience with this. Well, I don't want to say that all the bosses that I've had, were always white male. The great ones were always white males. A lot of them have always been white males. That is true. And another personal experience, I worked at Verizon for a little while as a front-facing rep at one of their stores. And we had 3 managers run the store. The store manager, which was a white guy. Surprisingly, I was really cool with him. We got along really great, treated me great. Was always super fair. And then we had 2 black managers. Both of them are females. So it was a male and then 2 females, and they were the assistant managers. One of them was really great. She was very hands-on. She was all about her job. She was about doing everything to help make our lives as reps easier. And then I had another one. Mind you, they were both black women. She was an absolute hell. Now, I know this is an anecdote, but I've seen too many minorities or just people in general always mention about the angry black woman boss. And I had a chance to experience that shit. When I tell you this lady was a dog shit manager, she was bad. She was literally there to collect a check. She didn't give a fuck about customers. She didn't give a fuck about the employees. It got so bad that whenever I would see her vehicle in the parking lot, I would actively feel like I was going to have a bad day, even if my day wasn't going to be bad. That's how bad it was. She just brought the mood down. She didn't want to do her job, so all she wanted to do was stand by the door and sign people in as they walked in, basically greeting people. She never did coaching. She never was assigned to anything special with the store. She didn't want to do anything. She just made everything just miserable. People would come in and the store was slow and they'd have like a troubleshooting issue or whatever that we knew that we could fix, even if it wasn't our job. But she would always try to direct them like, oh, go ahead and call tech support. But like, we can do it in the store here. And if we do it in the store, these people might want to come back and actually purchase from us next time. But that's how bad of a man. I've never had such a bad experience with a manager. And she just so happened to be black. Another one, then after she was transferred, because there was a whole investigation on her because she was actually bullying another one of the employees. And we actually ended up encouraging that employee to go ahead and report this to HR. And that we would back her up because, I mean, it was bad. She was bullying. It was an elderly woman. It got so bad that she would have panic attacks about just normal things because she felt like she was going to get attacked by this manager. That's how bad it was. Well, anyways, long story short, there was an investigation. I don't know how she did not get fired. She ended up getting transferred to another store. I don't know whatever became of her. Then I got another black manager, female. She was cool. She wasn't like the hard-ass type. But she was just very unprofessional, man. Uniform looked just raggedy. She was literally always late. She actually ended up getting fired for that. She was always late. It was just a mess. She was messy. very messy managers. So I know that a lot of people talk shit, and you know I seen it in the comments of this video on the TikTok. They're like, oh, they treat you that way and they give you special projects because they don't see you as a threat. Like, why the fuck does there have to be a victim mentality about any of this? I've had great black managers too, males. The ones I've had problems with are usually the females. And again, I'm not attacking females, but it's usually the females and it's usually the black ones. Because it feels like they got a chip on their shoulder. And I'm sure this is what this lady talking about. And again, I've had great experiences with managers of all races. But the one group that I consistently see being complained about is black women.
Meanwhile, white man, he sees me, he goes, yep, let me give you this special project. What do you need? What's going to advance your career? How can I help you? None of the passive aggressiveness, none of the micromanaging, none of that extra shit, right? Give me Jim, Bob, Bill, give me that.
This video triggered me because I want so badly for her to be wrong. My very own lived experience is that the two people who were responsible for my career literally launching off the platform were named Corey and Phil. And yes, they were. If you're asking me what they were, go back and watch her video. But yep, they were. And when I tell you special projects, temporary assignments, mentoring, everything that I needed to move forward in my career, the leaps and bounds that I took were when I was underneath a Corey and a Phil. And that is what it is.
Again, I know anecdotes are anecdotes, right? But I've seen way too many videos of people talking about the positive experiences they've had with white bosses. A lot of people, you know, like to say, oh, racism at the workplace, racism at the workplace. But a lot of the times you usually get mostly discriminated by your own people. It be your own. Not only because they got that chip on their shoulder like the other woman mentioned, but because, like she said, they'll see you as a threat, like you might take their spot. But Jim, Bob, whatever, they don't see you as a threat, not because they see you as lesser than, but because they might actually want to see you be a leader someday. Because Jimmy, Bob, Bill, that are 60, 65, 70 years old, they know they're not going to be around much longer. So somebody else has to take the mantle. But no, if you've got a minority leader, usually it's always a fucking problem because you might feel like they might take your position, like, oh, they're gunning for it. So why am I gonna mentor you? Why am I gonna teach you to take my own position away from me? Why am I gonna do that as a minority? Instead of helping each other. But it's crazy because they always talk about the solidarity of the community and how we all need to stick together. But then when it actually comes time to do it, none of that shit ever gets done. But this is just my thoughts on this topic. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree, disagree? Have you had similar experiences? And if you have, like I said, let me know in the comments. And if you like the video, please like, subscribe, and share the video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.